Look at this then. The main event, Jon Jones, red corner, 27-1. The GOAT, that is. He's been back now for a couple of years. We've only seen him fight Cyril Gane, but that's his second fight now in the heavyweight division, and it's going to be up against the legend, that is Stipe Miocic, and that's 20-4. Last time we saw Stipe, he was batting it out gruesomely with Francis Ngannou. And it's been a minute since he's been back.
Cool.
Boy, it's good to have him back. I am curious as to what kind of aged fighter we might be having. Would these legends be fighting as good as they've always have? Or would we be seeing two old men going at it? That's the question. But how did you think something like this was going to match up? Is it pretty evident that Jon Jones is going to really have his way here? Is he going to be using grappling, or is he just going to keep it to striking? I guess he gets to decide, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with this fight is, yeah, we're one hand we're seeing an older Stipe.
Yeah.
We've not seen it since 2021 when he got flatlined by Francis Ngannou. On the other hand, we're seeing a Jon Jones at heavyweight, which still has questions because he went out there and dominated Cyril Gane, got the takedown and submitted him in quick succession. We never really got to see how well he looked on the feet. And in this fight, we're going to see that, especially against another heavyweight. So I feel like Stipe used to wrestle in college as well, I believe, same as Jon. I don't think that I don't think he's better than Jon in wrestling, pure wrestling on its own. I do think that Jon is better than him in that area. Striking wise is all boxing from Stipe, whereas Jones likes to implement kicks and he likes to do that turning side kick to the knees, which is gruesome. But in terms of who wins it in terms of striking, I don't know. But seeing Jon throw kicks at heavyweight is going to be weird when he's much slower than what he was at light heavyweight.
We never got to see much, did we, of Jones at heavyweight? You know, his only feature at heavyweight was with Cyril Gane, and, you know, thank you, Cyril Gane, for giving us all of about 2 minutes of the guy. You know, we really didn't get a chance to see.
Annoyed with that
needed
performance.
Cyril to test his mettle, so we knew what kind of Jon Jones's strengths were and weaknesses were at the class. But after fighting Cyril Gane, we still none the wiser. You know, we could say, oh, Jon Jones superior, but I just feel like Cyril Gane was just some kind of not really on this game that day.
No, I think he was mentally beaten heading into that fight. I'll go back and say it, and again, I just feel like the aura that Jones brings and the self-belief that he has in himself is enough to throw a fighter off their game. And that's what I saw in that fight. It wasn't Cyril Gane, and I think he
Cyril
knows
Gane
that as
was
well.
not in his game at all. True that. All right, fair. So then, look, it's been a while since we've seen both these guys. I would probably argue that none of their previous performances were that satisfying or exciting. Of course, it's good enough to get the belt and have a win. Still wasn't satisfied by the performance. What's the biggest worries with Stipe that we should probably be aware of? Like, is he really going to be rusty, or you know, he does look old.
It's exactly that. I mean, it is whether or not you believe ring rust is a thing. I think there will be an element of that, but then also he's had all this time off to kind of rest and heal his body properly. So, I mean, look, you can make comparisons to. You've got Mike Tyson fighting a 28-year-old this weekend, you know, and he looks pretty good at the moment. When he's hitting pads, all right, he's not going to be like prime Mike Tyson, but he's old. He's old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's making Stipe look young, and it's crazy. We're still thinking that Stipe is going to be, you know, really old heading into this Jon Jones fight. It's possible, but yeah, I think it mostly come down to ring rust, not age, I feel.
Yeah, valid, fair enough. All right, shall we have a look at the gauges and see how this one matches up on the paper?
Yeah,
All right.
Salute Wales. I'll see you in house.
What's up,
Your
Wales?
predictions in for this awesome main event that we have this weekend.
Let's see what you got. Okay, cool. We're looking at striking. Who's gonna have the advantage there?
Ooh, difficult. Again, with a slower Jon Jones throwing kicks, I'm not too sure. You know, Stipe's got some great boxing and great hands. If he's able to get on close and just makes it a boxing affair,
Yeah.
then he might best Jon. And let's not forget, Jon got pieced up by Dominic Reyes, edged out a decision. All right, it was time ago.
That was
But
true.
who's a better striker?
Yeah, and
Hardo.
true that was wild. Dominic Reyes was doing it. It was doing it in that one.
Striking is a horrible one.
Yeah.
Grappling wise, I'll give to Jon.
Jon will get grappling. Power.
Yeah. Power, I actually kind of want to give to Stipe in this.
Stipe maybe the power. I did see how Stipe was able to sap the power of Francis Ngannou by wrestling him down to the ground. You might say that Francis had power, but Stipe used his weight so effectively in that wrestling that there's no power for Francis Ngannou to use. I thought it was beautiful how he did that. I would say speed would probably rest with Jones.
Yeah.
And cardio. Stipe.
Oh, cardio's a horrible one.
Yeah, I mean,
Both
I've
guys
not
are durable.
seen enough from Jones.
Both guys are durable as hell. Especially with Miocic in, I think, is it the DC fight or both DC fights? The fight where he stopped DC late, he was able to, I think he may have dropped the first 2 rounds and came out strong, a round or so. Yeah, I think cardio is a very tricky one in this.
You're right.
Maybe might just be Jon. Who's going to be training harder out of the two? Jon's a workhorse.
What do you think? Definitely Jon then, yeah?
I think Jon might edge it. Might edge it. For me.
Okay,
Boom, boom,
fair.
boom. Back.
Which case, let's put him down. And then striking. We never squared that one, to be fair.
Ooh. It's just 2 for 2 at the moment.
Probably what's gonna make it all the difference.
See, this fight I think is actually closer than what people think.
Yeah.
It might just all come down to a mindset thing. I'm hoping it's more competitive than what people are expecting.
And I've not seen a mindset like Jon Jones's before. It's been so on point. It's been so good. And I always thought it's always sometimes mind games when a fighter is so ready to fight you, and then you just delay the fight by like X amount of months. It just kind of says, no, you don't fight me when you're ready. You fight me when I'm ready. And that's a bit of a power play almost sometimes.
Yeah, I think both guys were doing that at one point.
Yeah.
Probably Stipe a while ago.
You fight me on my time, not your time.
Yeah, but recently it's definitely Jon. Of course, Jon was healing on injuries and everything, not all that.
How do you beat a fighter? How do you increase your chances against a fighter who's more primed than you are right now? Just delay them so they kind of fall a bit out of their prime.
Yeah. Do you know what I also like coming into this is the fact that it's not Stipe trying to get under Jon's grill. He called him a bitch. All right, that was the only thing that he did.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like on the sideline, you've got Tom Aspinall that's picking at Jones, and you've got the fans that are also picking at Jones because
to be fair, Jones is fighting on all corners.
He is. Yeah. He 100% is. It's like Aspinall's fighting Miocic's corner here. you know? And if there's anything to affect Jon, it could be that. I mean, look, Jon's, I think, mentally tough, and he's mentally strong. I do believe that. And I don't think it's going to affect him too much. But that's the best chance. I think it's just Tom Aspinall from the sideline.
All right. In that case, I'm going to put this one to bed by saying I reckon Jones might have the striking, siding with the favourite in it. But you think, effectively, if there was an X factor to this bout, it will come down to the mental warfare between the two. And the fact that Jones is fighting on all fronts. Stipe is just going to be you know what I mean? He's just going to be that silent killer. He's like, yeah, that's right.
Is there
Jones.
pressure on Stipe? Is it?
Focus on Aspinall.
There's no
focus
pressure
on the fans. And Stipe's just going to come in and get that upset, which you've been feeling's been the upset omen that's been around the top 3 in the card.
Oh.
It's just no one's looking. He's a dark horse. No one's watching him. No one's watching Stipe.
People have forgotten, I think, just how good Stipe was.
Yeah.
And we're all expecting an older, withered Stipe, but who knows? We're not going to know until that cage door closes at the end of the day which way it's going to go.
Art of war. I'd love to see it, to be fair. I'd love to see it. I'd just be like, yo, wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah. It's like in Unbedded. I've not watched all of Embedded. I've only seen little clips here and there. It's like one moment it's just, you know, Jon Fat just dealing with all these fans who think Tom Aspinall deserves a shot on one hand, and then you've got Stipe who's actually pulling pranks on his missus instead. Like in the car on the phone. Like it's just crazy. I need to watch it all, to be fair.
Do you think Jon Jones can rest in peace if he doesn't fight Tom Aspinall? Let's say he beats Stipe and he retires. Can he rest in peace?
Clearly not, because there has been some conversations, or people have been putting out the idea of Jones retiring, relinquishing the belt, and then fighting Alex Pereira for BMF. I've got a feeling that both parties want to entertain that. I think Pereira's game for it, and there is a part of Jones that's actually quite intrigued by that.
Well, BMF?
Yeah, and fighting Alex Pereira. They're doing some kind of BMF thing. I mean, I guess that's the only thing that the UFC can do, right? You prevent Jones from holding up the division, and holding up Tom Aspinall. You give Tom Aspinall the undisputed title straight off the bat, because he pretty much deserves it. He's the number one guy, etc., etc. From now on, it's just Jones is only sticking around for big money fights, and then he's going off into the distance. So you strip him from the belt, you make him fight this legacy fight against Pereira, but the UFC need to put a belt on the line, so they probably would put a BMF belt.
Create another BMF, or just like keep one and just transfer it over.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. People holding that title, really.
Yeah,
should just be a one night thing.
One night only.
You know? Yeah, right. You shouldn't be like a fighter just defending it. What? You know?
Oh, well.
But yeah, that's my take on it. I think it for Jon will see it as a winnable fight, because he will know his wrestling's gonna be far superior than Alex's. That's all he'll need to do.
Yeah, true. Just look out for those hands, get on in, and it could be interesting.
And he'll see it as a challenge, and you know what Jon's like.
Yeah,
I think he thrives on a challenge, but he's smart at the same time. You know.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall is a bigger threat, but he knows that, and he's avoiding that because he knows that is a big gamble to make that could potentially ruin his legacy or dampen his legacy.
Yeah. I mean, let's say Tom Aspinall does beat Jon Jones. Tom Aspinall's great, but does it take away from all that Jon Jones has done and achieved? He's still going to be 27-2.
Oh yeah, no,
8-2 at that point.
It doesn't, but I think fans have got a short-term memory.
Yeah,
you know. And Jones's activity speaks for itself, really. People will, will just.
Well, he can always be wheeled out for the argument, and then it can be debated. But
sure.
But yeah, fair.
All right.
But that settles it then.
Oh, yeah.
What a night.
Some stuff.
Oh, what a night.
Damn.
Look, guys, thanks so much for joining us for this UFC 309 card. That was a breakdown here from